Okay, I created one of those wiggling object here, and if you want to add more here, you can start from the beginning like what we did manually, but it can be annoying if you have like hundreds of those wiggling objects. So instead of creating again, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use a duplicate special, which is going to help me out to work efficiently. So before I do that, I'm going to add an extra controller here. So create a curve, create a circle, which is going to be my controller, and group this, and I'm just going to name this group as group controller. Okay, and the reason why I created a controller is because I can use this curve to the base curve to move and see the effect of this objects, but I think it's better because it's not selectable here. It's better to create a controller which we can see to move the object here. So select my curve, base curve, and then I'm going to just parent it under this nerve circle, which I just created. And another thing here, what I have to do here is now with my nerve circle that I just created, I can move this with my circle that I just created. However, I cannot rotate this. So for example, if I try to rotate it in rotate X, you can see that this object is not rotating. So what I have to do here for the rotation is I have to even parent my joint to this curve, to this circle, to this controller that I created. So now if I rotate this, you can see that this object is going to have the rotation to with this controller. Okay, so once you're done with this, select everything what you have in the outliner, create another group, Control G to create a group. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my duplicate special, which is going to be under the Edit Duplicate Special option. And if you set it as a reset, it's going to not work out as you expected. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to change my group under to the word and number of copies to maybe 8, and I'm going to check the enable the duplicate input graph so that all those input connection is going to be duplicated, and hit the duplicate special. So once you do that, you're going to have 8 more additional groups exactly the same as group 1 here. So I'm going to open all those groups that I just duplicated, and here what I'm going to do here is let me see. Yeah, why don't I select, okay, why don't I want, yeah, why don't I move, why don't I separate the controllers? So select all those controllers under those groups and create another group, Control G. So it's going, the controllers are going to be separated in here from controller 0 to controller 8. And next, I want to move each of those controllers to however you want. So I'm going, right now it's just going to show the curve here. It's not going to move the objects, but I'll show you how this works. So select each of those controller groups, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to create some kind of shapes. some kinds of shapes. So this is going to be, so I have 4 shapes like going around. You can make a different shape, by the way, and maybe this one 45 45, so it's going to be created moving in that direction, and maybe this one 135 and minus 45 to create that point, and this one is, let's try minus 45. Okay, so I think I have to change my rotate Z to 45, and this one minus 35 and 45, maybe minus 45. And finally, the last one, I'm just going to rotate this to 90. So what I have here is I have this kind of shape here. So if I once play it out, you can see that each geometry is going to be stick to that curve, trying to stick to that curve here. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a bigger number for the time slider, and I'm just going to settle it out so that I'll just go back and play it while it stops. Okay, once it stops, because every time when I go to the first frame, it's going to have that wriggling motion from here, from this sphere, right? So I don't want that. I want to start from this pose here, this position. So I have to just run it and then stop the playback. And from here, I want to start it from, I want my initial start as like this shape. Then what you have to do is just play it while it stops moving, and then hold down the spacebar, and under the field solver, there's going to be initial state. And first you have to select all those copy curves. Okay, so select all those copy curves, and then go to field solver and set for selected. Okay, then if you go back to the first frame, it's going to start the simulation is going to start from that place here. Okay, so we are almost finished here. So next, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create an additional sphere at the center. Maybe increase the radius a little bit bigger, and then I'm just going to parent this autos controller to the sphere, so that whenever I move my sphere, everything's going to move with the sphere. So if I hit play and if I move my sphere, you can see that this is moving this kind of way.